Top of the motherfucking morning, nigga.
Early in the motherfucking morning.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and cut that motherfucking AC on.
The periodic table is a compound of elements that man, there's one term I can't remember how it is said, and I've heard it before. Not iodines, dang. It's where carbon is still two elements. All right, iron, two elements. These are all elements on the periodic table in which other elements have made to make. So you can't make any more elements, is what the periodic table refers to. Okay, so in referring to you can't make them, that doesn't deny the fact. If you go back, and I suggest everyone listen to this. This isn't Terrence Howard's initial discovery. He may have expounded upon it, but there is a scientist from the 1800s, along with whatever was it Einstein? No, which one? Theory of relativity, whichever. You know what I'm saying? GED thoughts here, buddy. But if you go back, the periodic table he explains it as there are three main elements that get duplicated or doubled in a sense that ultimately you can, if you diffuse certain elements, you can break them down in twos, right? And if you've seen some of Terrence Howard stuff, there's this math argument that he has about 1 times 1. You can't times 1 times 1 and say it's just 1. That anytime you add a multiplication into the equation, it automatically will increase the number. And you can't increase it while still staying in the same negative. And that, in a sense, of the square root of 2 doesn't equal 1. Type of yada, yada, yada. So there are all these things that he points out that like misconstrued, maybe a little bit of scientific that most people understand. But when he talks about, it's a wavelength form. And the periodic table is a square with blocks. The wavelength form is a chakra sense setup, where you have your multiples that get doubled and brought down and brought down, and it's a wavelength like look like a DNA structure is what it looked like, and the way he explains it makes sense. And if you went to science, studied a little bit, I didn't give two farts about what carbon monoxide was coming out my ass, or if plants could talk to each other, or where the chicken or the egg came first. I don't care. But in the sense of, as I get older and I understand, yeah, everything kind of connected in a similar sense. And if you watch this, it's gonna, you gotta have an open mind. Think about it. Let your brain do some soaking up before it processes, and allow you to believe you understand. You don't know everything, and some of this shit just ain't gonna make sense. Some of this shit you ain't gonna be able to visualize, but you know what atoms are, you know what neutrons and electrons are, you know what the elements are, you know what a periodic table is. All right, you know where Mars is, you know where Venus is, you know what gravity is, you know what the sun is, you know what an asteroid belt is. The basics of what he's talking about is universal, and that in which we don't understand what we're supposed to understand. So think about it. Talk to yourself. Congregate within your mind about the different theories, and understanding more than just the science behind what he's saying, the possibilities, the narrative of, if this theory of this science was created in the 1800s, most of us born in the 1900s, and here it is 2000, and we just now getting a piece of, even if you don't agree, a piece of a different opinion in science that could produce and propel society in a different way of life. And that, to me, deserves respect. It deserves attention. It deserves to have motion of conversation. It shouldn't be shunned and shot down. You know, I've followed Terrence Howard. Some of you saw social media of him speaking about some of this stuff, and every chance I could and saw something, I definitely dove in. Some stuff is questionable in the sense of I can't understand it. Not that I doubt that he's right. Because every person looks at things differently. You know what I'm saying? I just got these glasses, brand new. First time wearing them on the podcast. You know, little mad scientist motherfucker right here. But I still indulge in I enjoy thinking about stuff and contemplating. I enjoy diving into these questions sometimes. And I think that, you know, he's traveling on a path in which he definitely is producing a backing for himself. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Terrence, Deshaun Howard.
They can't explain the morphic resonance that's happening between things like right now, because I've discovered these wave conjugations. Every person on the planet that's been thinking about it will now have ideas concerning, but not just us, but all humanoids throughout the entire universe will now get that same resonance and be able to apply it like the experiments with the rats.
Right.
You teach a rat something here in London, and then in New York you find the rats are doing the same thing.
Right.
Spontaneously because of the morphic resonance, because we are all connected on this ether, and that waveform that's the consciousness. We are all just one great being.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they forget. We're not separate. The universe is probably one cell inside of some super organism.
Right.
And we're just little who, you know, little who's like Horton hears a who and trying to make sense of it.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing that we're making sense of it. But everything is just one great being. We're all God. That's what Jesus was talking about. That's what you know, Buddha was talking about. It's recognizing the divinity in you. What I did as a child, I said, I'm going to, instead of waiting for the Messiah to show up, what if everybody picked up their torture stake and behaved and did the things that they had expected the Messiah to do? What if everybody just for one day walked around and behaved as if they were God himself and did the things that they would expect the Creator? And we know God can't just be a male, because no man can produce a child without a female. Everything in the universe, as above, so below, like Billy Carson always talks about. You can't, everything has an equal and opposite. It has to mate. Mating is a big part of what we do. The boron mates with nitrogen, and that's how the carbon happens. Everything inside of us, all our cells, they're mating. There's a relationship going on.
The theories
and
he have is
everything's
quite
alive.
intriguing.
There
it really
no
is.
death, but the Bible talked about a mechanistic world. God took dirt and blew into it the breath of life, and it came to life. But if you look at the Brownian effect, what is breathing? Going from positive to negative. And they see all these, even the plastic that makes these things up are still going from, it's still carbon, polarizing from positive to negative, breathing in, breathing out. It's just under a different state of matter, but there is no death.
What you think about it, man? Everything
no
has
death.
matter.
We're
So if everything has matter,
is
it's all got to
eternal.
be laid out differently
And
in order to be.
once we get rid of the idea,
compared
okay, you're going
differently.
to die and disappear, you know,
Because
then
the
they
thing,
don't have any.
y'all say this, you know what I'm saying? The thing about it is that, you know, everything's made up of matter, everything, and the argument that what is it? Neutrons and electrons, everything has them. So some can be stable, which they are probably, less compressed. They're more stable. I don't know. I don't remember how all that works. But this guy, Terrence Howard, is on some line of intelligence that make you think, man. I didn't listen to it once. I'm reviewing it again with you guys, so check him out. He has clearly had proof and evidence that he has a patent about the VR. He is definitely involved in discovery of investigation of knowledge, okay? And it makes sense. A lot of this shit makes sense on a simplistic form. Implication and application, I don't know. But I'm also not a scientist. I'm still GED certified. But these are the GED thoughts of today. And I really think this is interesting. I think there's a lot of things out here that we're unable to see that require atoms, neutrons and electrons. We all breathe. These simplistic forms in which we look at life. Yet listening to how it's also very simple, and it makes a lot of sense if you just listen. You know what I'm saying, and have an open mind on what could become of this conversation. You know what I'm saying? I really think it's a brilliant thing that he doesn't let his endeavors and challenges become entangled, because Jada Pinkett did, and you look how that happened. August Alsina was ready for more. He probably was. He probably still wanted some more of that because, you know, as I look at it, man, he left one fix for another, for truth for truth, right? And he knew he was going to be somebody on Hustle and Flow, and now here he is years down the road bringing us some hustle and flow, because you got to hustle, and you got to have a dedication of flow to be able to understand and be able to relay this understanding in which you want people to see. Really complicated stuff. I'm going to get back in this.
Bobby Bands,
Hey.
certified CEO.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
The certified CEO.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Man, you got one of these bags yet?
Nah. Right
Man.
now, man, I got a couple pieces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Today I'm rocking my bracelet. You know what I mean? My certified CEO bracelet.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I believe in the brand, certified CEO. Consistency, effort, and opportunity, man. That's the motto. You know
That's
what I mean?
all it is. And that's all you really got to do if you're really striving for something. Consistency, effort, and opportunity.
Facts. Big
You
facts.
get your way.
Big facts.
It's going to come. It ain't going to just be a struggle for no reason. But if the struggle's worth it for you, then you're going to be a certified CEO. You just
Facts.
got to keep putting in the work.
Hey, man, I rock with the brand because I live by the motto. So
Yeah.
when I saw the shirts and I saw the clothing and I met Bobby, I was like, yo, bro, I fuck with that tough.
Yeah.
I fuck with you tough. I like that message. I believe in that message. I preach that message. So it was only right that damn, you know what I mean, I rock the gear.
Look, and this, now I'm going to have to probably do this twice. Certified CEO clothing was created to fit the mold of anyone with a true desire to be successful and chase their dreams. All right, that's a simple little start for you, okay? Just chase the dreams. It ain't hard. You don't know what's going to come, but you still got to put in the work, all right?
Facts. Be consistent in your efforts and create your opportunities.
That's
Straight
it.
up.
Look, check the link below. Go check them out for always something new.
Big facts.
Wraps over you anymore, and to be free, the truth will set you free. You know, that's why I was like, okay, well, if this truth cost me this lifetime, then wonderful, I've accomplished what I needed to do. Because I think in the previous lifetime, I was supposed to do these things, and I
Yeah,
did.
previous. But the
And
motherfucker
that's
said
why
he
it's been
remembers
so
coming
hard
out
for
his
me.
mama's
And that's why
womb.
I pushed so
He
hard
remembers.
to get these things out.
Oh,
because-
man. Y'all got to
So
watch the
you felt
episode
like
if you
that,
want
like,
more
from the
information.
womb.
From the womb, I had
So
to get
you
this
felt
done.
like you had these things that you didn't get out in a previous lifetime, and now you feel like an unstoppable urge.
I have to at all costs.
So can I go? But I would love to talk more about this, but I don't want to lose this thought. So if I want to go back to the formation of planets, so
Yes.
under this theory,
Yes. Formation of
these
planets.
stars
It kind of is
eject matter,
understandable.
and over
It
time,
might not make
this
sense to me in
matter
science,
will
but this definitely
achieve a
is a
certain amount of distance from the
relatable
sun.
concept
Short
to
distance.
consider.
Look at Mercury.
Yeah.
Mercury isn't that far from it.
Right.
Come on now. This
It
man
kinda
really
makes
has
sense.
a different approach
And
on
then
science, which is quite
over
intriguing.
time, it'll eventually get further and further out. The sun will continue to make more and more planets over an imperceptible amount of time. We won't be able to measure it. It's for in
I think
our,
it's a-
our world.
I gotta write
we'll
this
see
in a
it,
wavelength
it appears
form.
static, just like plants appear static to
Yes.
us. But if you ever watch a one of those
The
motion
secret
capture,
life of plants.
yeah, plants are moving and touching each other, and they're just doing it
And
at
yes,
a pace that
This
our
is the Joe
brain
Rogan
can't
podcast that
handle.
I'm
A
listening
different
to and
temporal
promoting this
dimension.
through.
Yes.
I don't
So
care
the
what your
sun
opinion is about
creating
it. But
planets.
he has had people on to sit and engage with him and discuss the connection of nature and plants and trees and grass and how they distribute and give off different, nutrients and what's that one thing they do? Photosynthesis. They do that process and they help each other out. You know what I'm saying? That's already something that scientists have come on and have confirmed. So this Joe Rogan don't talk a lot. Let Terrence speak to you. Listen to what he's saying and try to just soak it in, because it makes more sense than what we And like I said, you ain't going to understand everything. But it makes sense, motherfucker. We talking about Diddy right now. Y'all better check out Terrence Howard. This man has got something going on. And he got some backed up stuff. We're going to get into the patents and his new propulsion that he's created, I think it was. I don't know how far I'm going to go into it today, but I am going to get as far as I can. So y'all bear with me.
But it's doing so
Let's
at
dive
a pace
in.
that our mind can't really wrap around. So we want to think there's just matter and that it's flying through space and
It's inanimate.
collects via gravity, and the more mass, the more gravity.
It's supposed to, but take a balloon. Another thing that kills gravity. Gravity is supposed to be the greater the mass is the greater the attractor. You take a balloon, you rub it on your leg, you put it over the ground. Watch the dust particles jump off the ground, off this big mass called the Earth, and jump onto that balloon. Because why? Electricity is 137 times stronger than the pull of gravity or the effects of the so-called gravity. It's the electric force that's the attractive force. It's the electric force that tightens everything together as the mass.
It's the electric
and then
force.
The dividing force.
The
It's
dividing.
the radiative force, the magnetic field. It ablates and pushes everything out, and then they collect together again. But where these things meet, at the proper angles of incidence, like the Birkeland currents talked about, those plasma currents talked about, those angles of incidence is at 120 degrees when it converts it back into electricity, and it will keep collecting and coming and making life. The planet isn't a dead thing. It didn't just happen to come together. That's just the process by which it was given life. It's alive, and it's screaming. It thought we were going to be beneficial to it, and now it's trying to kill us. It needs to scratch itself and get rid of us because we are too dangerous, because we are using antiquated fundamentals.
He talked about how
And
the straight
like
line
people
was
say, well,
just.
what business do you
It is a
have
part of
coming in here
science, but
talking
it's only
about
half
science and all that. You're an actor.
half
You want to know what
the
my first
side.
patent
And
was?
it's only
The
one
entire
angle of it.
AR VR world was built off of my first patent that was abandoned because I paid $260,000 for the worldwide patent. But then my agents kept, my lawyers kept sending me these maintenance fees and annuities, and I'm like, these folks are just trying to shake me down. I'm not going to pay this. Well, a year later, if you would pull up my World of Windows patent, I think it's one of the first patents up there. I want you to see where your
World
AR,
of
VR
Windows
world came
patent
from.
is what
And
he
look at
had.
the list of companies that has cited.
And he's right.
Didn't just cite it. They built their entire AR, VR world off of my World of Windows patent. Can you pull that up, Jamie? Of the computer. Yeah, it's the very, not that one, not that one, not that one.
They
Yeah,
built
that's
the VR
propulsion
world
patent.
based on it. You know
no,
what I'm saying?
no, no. That's all you have, huh? Really? If you can go to Terry's linchpin, I'll show you on here. This is what this is what we put together for.
Is that online?
This is online.
Text me that link and I'll just send it to him.
Yeah,
You got it?
you got it.
Okay.
So merging virtual reality. It says merging virtual reality with reality. Go down. Patents and files, the very first one. Pop on that. So you go and look over to, you'll see my name, inventor, Terrence Deshaun Howard. Worldwide application, and let's just read the abstract just so they'll.
System and method for merging virtual reality and reality. Scroll it so I can see it. To provide an enhanced sensory experience. A system and method of merging virtual reality sensory detail from a remote site into a room environment at a local site. The system preferably includes at least one image server, a plurality of image collection devices, a display system comprising display devices, a control unit, digital processor, and a viewer position detector. The control unit preferably receives the viewer position information and transmits instructions to the digital processor. The digital processor preferably processes source data representing an aggregated flow
What that sound like?
aggregated field of view from the image capturing devices in accordance with the instructions received from the control unit and outputs the refined data representing a desired display view to be displayed on one or more display devices wherein the viewer position detector dynamically determines the position of the viewer in the room environment and changes the desired display view corresponding to position changes
2010.
of the viewer.
Now you see
This is all you?
Yeah, look at the inventor. Go up a little bit
see
and
it.
slide over. It says
Yeah.
Terrence Deshaun Howard.
Yeah.
Worldwide patent, 2010. It was abandoned. Now go to cited by. You see that 131 cited by? Tap on there. It's right under where it says abandoned. Yep, patent
Cited by
citation.
31.
Cited by 31. It's to the right. Yep, right there. Tap on there. And look
cited
at all
by.
the companies. And if you look at the patent, these companies have all earned, they have multi-billion-dollar companies they've built off of my patents. Just roll through.
Sony, Microsoft, Amazon.
Hewlett-Packard.
Yeah.
Keep going.
crazy.
Keep going. IBM, and it's still making money. This patent has earned over $7 trillion.
And you didn't get a piece.
And I haven't gotten a penny of it. When they
They
did
done
all
made
of
$7 trillion
Black Lives
off
Matter,
this
like
off this man's
Raytheon
patent.
company.
Yeah, Hustle and Flow ain't the only thing they
It-
gypped him on, is it? But he
IBM,
out
if
here
you-
not complaining,
There's-
still
and
searching, still growing,
still has another
and still
9
shedding
years.
that light.
Now,
That's what I'm
there's
talking
8
about.
years in which I would be making money off it. But what they didn't know is they didn't understand is how it was really supposed to work. So they've just been taking this gun and been using it as a bat. And if they wanted to know, I could show them how it really, really works. But this is proof
Hustle and Flow, right there.
that my
You're
stuff.
right, motherfucker. I got the yin and
Is
the yang
legit.
for that
Is
ass.
legit.
Come on over here
So
and
let
get
me
the
ask you this
real
before
thing.
we
I'm gonna
stray
show you
away
how it's
from this
done
too
for
much.
real.
The-
And
the
then I'm
concept of
I'm gonna put
gravity.
that price tag
So
on that hind
if it's all electricity that's causing these forces and it's all outside in, when the Saturn V rocket is escaping Earth's atmosphere, what is it fighting against?
What that's fighting against is the rotation. Remember, there's a centripetal spin that's taking place with the Earth.
Right.
Listen to this.
And there's an electrical field that's generated from that. That's that centripetal spin that holds things inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's fighting against. That's that electric field.
And we're calling it gravity.
We're calling it gravity, but gravity is just the effect of the electric field, and
Listen to
the
that.
electric field is
Listen to
balanced
that.
by the radiative field.
And the more mass
Listen to
something
that.
has, the more it gets
The
pulled.
greater electric potential it has. You know,
So the more
the tighter
dense
the
something
waves
is, the
are.
heavier it is.
the
the more
waves
it's-
are tighter.
Yes.
Electricity can now, it doesn't have to jump over anything. And as I showed you with some of the pieces, as long as they're close together,
It's just
then
wild.
you don't have the
It's just
magnetic
wild.
field that forms, that discharge, because they're able to stay northeasternly in their direction. They're not forced to go southwesternly.
Now listen to this
in and
part.
out. Either you're spinning to the right or spinning to the left. That's the only two directions in the universe.
Two directions.
Spinning to the right is northeastern, that's electric. If it's spinning to the left, it's magnetic, and it's expanding out. It contracts in fifths and expands in sixths. And so now what I would love to do is invite Neil deGrasse and David Tong or any astrophysicist, any chemist, anyone in any field of science to sit down with me and examine these patents, examine the supersymmetrical systems that I've developed.
Think
But I
about it. If
wanna
you have a
show
connection
you
with someone,
linchpin.
they
now.
get drawn to you.
Here I've
You see what I'm
invented-
saying?
here I'm an
If
Oscar-nominated
you ain't really
actor
matching up with them,
that
you push them
is
away.
known all around
This
the
shit's
world,
simple.
face recognition,
Think about what he's
vocal
saying.
recognition, all
It's
around
everywhere.
The world. I've invented a new form of flight.
You know,
tangential
just like
flight,
I
the
know,
ability
you
to
can't
fly
see
around your
bacteria,
own
but there's
center
a
of
whole
mass,
life form happening
something
right
they've
here,
never
and he
been
talks
able to
about
do.
this in there.
And
Get
you don't
involved
hear
with your brain
anything
yourself
about it.
before you get
And
anywhere
it's
else.
Unlimited bonding. If you can go to what Jonathan Davis sent over, he's one of the other programmers that work with us.
Explain what it does. Explain when you said flight. What do you mean?
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Tangential flight.
What do you mean by that?
It means right now, fixed wing aircraft, you can
Right.
go in 4 degrees of direction. They go up, down. Some can go forwards and backward.
Right.
Backwards and
Right.
right to left. But this is able to spin around its own center of mass. Completely spin around its own center of mass. Something they've never. People are able to do it by falling, but this is a sustained system that's able to go around. I sent that that other video to you.
They're like a crazy
But their
hovercraft.
ability, because this is the geometry of hydrogen, any bond that hydrogen can make, linchpin can make, and what they're basically doing is building the period.
Now, I don't know if you know this. There used to be a conspiracy that people was getting killed or getting missing because people was running their cars off water. There's these metal plates that you can energize off a battery jumper that will separate H2O, water, into hydrogen and oxygen. And you can light that container in which you test this in if you want to. I'm not going to go find a video clip for this. It's a simple thing to search. But it will ignite like a combustion, just like gas. Maybe not in a boom and a bang and a flame, but there definitely is a spark of life there for water to be a combustion substance. You know what I'm saying? And it's just weird. And here's what he's talking about. So the hydrogen stuff. And then at the same time, if you listen to Joe Rogan, if you listen to other things when guests come on to go dive in and ask more questions and research different avenues, not for no confirmation, but just for understanding and just trying to, find surface level understanding. Because really all it comes down to is, do you understand yourself? And are you accolating the same things you're looking at to kind of navigate what you're going through? Because some of this shit going to make sense and add up and be helpful if you really can take those certain attributes and avenues to relate it to what you're going through. But nonetheless, I really think this is interesting because it's not in my time that a scientist or a scientific presentation that, to me, I feel like we have new science available. Like a new inventor, a new era coming forward. And I think that he has a lot of video clips out there if you want to look at other things. He talks about a lot of stuff in here, but he definitely is searching. And he's not just doing it through science. He's also doing it through himself. The more he makes himself better, the more he's seeing what he needs to see. The more he is becoming clear in mind and understanding what connects, what doesn't connect, yada, yada. A lot of meditation people talk about different avenues of this with the chakra and this, that, and the third. But this circular propulsion device is what's coming up. And this is where I speak about a new science, a new revelation of era in this avenue of aviation. And I guess the potentials that could come. It's quite intriguing. And it does relate to, I look at it like nobody's ever thought about that the world spins and all these planets spins in a space that does not allow, like they make their own movement based on everything that's going on in the universe, but yet they're not traveling, but they are. You know what I'm saying? So if you could find a way to use that circular motion as a directive in a slower time to maybe be able to navigate the spin, because like you were saying, the more the spin when it comes to the directional, I think it was right is electronical. Yeah, right, left is magnetical. If you're going right and you got it pulled in, if you just slow it down enough, you might be able to maneuver that in a different way. So it makes it's understandable. You know what I'm saying? So be open, because man, I'm telling you, I'm 33. I remember before cell phones was even off the wall. I mean, shit, I remember when the phone, we had a roll, but that's also because we was poor. But, it still was a long time before we got that long cable. I remember choking my brother out one of them suckers trying one time, but it's all good. We done come a long way is what I'm saying. Antennas on the trailer park top to all the way to, man, shooting rockets up into space regularly. And we ain't getting nowhere. And ain't nobody done this in the moon again. So, nonetheless, let's keep going in. Let's see this device.
Periodic table in front of you. If you play 4 of them coming together, it's 4 like 30-second videos. I'll explain it out, but you'll see how these things align themselves.
It's crazy.
Well, this is the swarm.
Swarm.
And they're all following this queen as a
so it's like
colony.
drones.
Do everything that she's doing.
These are prototypes.
Go to the very first video. There's 4 in a row on it. Oh, that's how it came over to you. Well, let's see which one this is. This is 4 of them that's going to come together.
He also in the beginning just notated that his
pick up
phone
a
continuously messes up. on this, if you
And
know,
what's
watch the
powering
podcast.
them?
Jamie's computer
right now
messes up
they're-
quite a
we're-
bit
We're going to use hydrogen fuel
involved
cells,
in this episode.
but I have another system,
Look at
that I
this.
was going to talk about in a second. But it's an unlimited source of power. But-
So hydrogen fuel cells,
Or you can use lithium batteries
and
at
they're
present.
how are they moving? Like what are those? Is that like are those like propellers?
Yeah, those are props. But
Okay.
But that right there, what we have right there is it's a pitch, collective pitch. So instead of the props having to turn themselves around,
Mm-hmm.
instead of all the props having to turn themselves around to stop and turn in
Right.
the opposite direction,
Like a helicopter.
they just switch the direction. They just.
That's
so
pretty
it's a
interesting. Think
collective
about
pitch,
that.
And it changes, and so now instead of going up, you're going down. But now 5 of them will come together, and watch what the 5 does with. So this is the end of cranes.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
This is the.
This shit gonna be if we'll see.
how many
I'm
is
looking at
And they can-
a
this
new
is
worldwide
the-
Einstein.
This is the fractal. They can be as small as a nanoparticle, or they can be as large as the universe, because the entire universe comes down to this. So I was trying to reach out to Elon
Listen at
Musk.
it.
I was trying to reach out to Jeff Bezos. I was trying, because my main goal was I was building these to clean up the upper atmosphere, all of that debris that's up there, and ultimately to mine the asteroid belt, because you can't go out there. They keep talking about going out there.
Right. Can't go out there.
Like you try
Tesla
and
spent
go
all this
that
money.
far away.
Ain't done it.
That's
This
like
theory.
us-
Listen.
That's like taking a starfish from the bottom of the ocean and bringing it up to where we are. Everything expands. The nitrogen expands too much. That animal dies. You take us outside where Mars is, nitrogen has expanded so much more. The hydrogen has expanded so much more that you will never be able to, you won't even have a spaceship or a suit on that's strong enough to keep your body together.
Just like the
and
ocean,
will
you go too
never be
deep,
able
you
to
gonna
come back
find up.
to
You sleeping with the
93
sheep.
million
You know what I'm
miles away
saying?
from the sun,
Because you ain't gonna be
everything
there
will
to play
have
around and
expanded and
swim in the
will expand to
clouds.
point
Because
of
you gonna be a
acuity
dead duck.
and explode out.
And that's what he's saying.
So
You go up
trying
to
to send a
space,
man
it
out to
changes
Mars
too much.
It's like trying to send a man to live on Venus. The pressure is too tight near
See?
Venus. We will get crushed in a second. It's like being pushed to the bottom of the ocean immediately. You will get crushed immediately. The pressure conditions change as we move from the sun. But science have neglected that because they've said it's a void there. And they don't account for that higher pressure condition, but they found that radioactive decay is quicker closer to the sun, near Venus. Why? Because the pressure condition, that electric field and those magnetic fields are pushing on each other, causing it to turn back into an electric force in comparison to further away. When the Earth is closer to the sun, they found that radioactive decay is quicker than when it's further away from the sun. Is that by accident? Or is it just because of the change of pressure conditions? So us talking about going out, when my wife said on the thing, are we going to be able to put people on Saturn? No. It's too nebulous. It's expanded out too far. Our pressure, we would have to have a suit so strong and powerful in order for us to do that. But Linchpin is able to make it out there because we have another propulsion system that we've put together where I'm able to take water and put it into a small change. And this patent has been granted. It's the propulsion projectile. And we patented it as a gun because I didn't want anybody else to be able to use it like a gun. But it's basically lightning in a bottle. We take water and we put it inside of a small chamber based on the wave conjugations that I have and the angles of incidence. And we run an electric charge through a small amount of water. The water is not able to expand into gas like it wants to because it's locked into the pressure condition. So immediately it converts into plasma. And it converts the gas dimension into a power dimension. So it's lightning out of the barrel.
Listen at it.
Just from water. And there's no end like with...
So it's a real lightning gun, like
Yes.
from Quake.
Yes. So, and the patent's been granted. Typically,
Listen at this.
you're limited to how much charge you can put inside of a cartridge, and you
There
have
was
to
a
get
clip
more
going
and more
around talking about
charge
Congress
or
now admitted
explosive
there's
in
there's
there
devices
to
they
get
put in us to
something out.
manipulate us.
But
Imagine all this
with
science we don't know,
electricity,
bro.
You could send 1,000 volts or 1,000,000 volts through the same
Few
aperture.
years we've heard more technology
that
advancements
water
than we
is
have in the past
incompressible.
decade.
And so it's just
Think about
going
that.
to react, and immediately it converts into a plasma, and so we can project anything into space. All of that has been accomplished, and it's ignored.
So it can act as a propulsion system for rockets as well?
Rockets, anything, and in space, and that's the whole point for it to, because there's just nothing but moisture and that collective and ice in there. So you can now, the linchpins can go
Listen to
all
that.
the
Think
way
about that.
past Mars, attach themselves to whatever asteroid, mine that asteroid, bring it back, and have in one of the Lagrange areas. So for the audience out there, Lagrange areas are those areas where multiple magnetic fields meet and there's no weight to something. Another death blow to gravity was the fact that it's not a constant. It could not be a constant because things
Gravity
weigh
is not a
heavier
constant.
on the poles of the Earth than it does on the surface of the poles than it does at the equator. They're heavier at the poles than they are at the equator. And the further away from the Earth you go, the less it goes. So there's no consistency about gravity. It is not a constant. It is a coefficient, and it's more so just an effect. And it's the same thing with the Planck scale. You look at the Planck scale or the Planck length or the Planck weight. All of those things are based upon gravity, and they're supposed to occur at 10 to the 15th, 10 to the minus 15th, the Planck scale. But at 10 to the minus 35 is where the proton and all of that behaves. They have gravity
different
inside
levels
of there as if
of
it's
quantum
affecting
physics.
it, but they've already said that at a small molecular level, at the nuclear level, gravity has no effect. So how is that part of a Planck scale? There's a guy, Fleming, that talks a lot about this. But you take that, you look at the
Other
speed of light.
scientists still
Is
pitch
that a
and point out
constant?
certain aspects this
In
man is referring to and
1928,
relating
they
in.
saw that there was different fluctuations between 1928
There was a guy, he said,
and 1948.
in the 1800s, there's a theory, and this is something I didn't talk about in here. The periodic table is a compound of elements that is not always subjected. Oh, hold up, guys.
Hello.
Hello. What's up, Pudgy?
What's good?
You a part of the Columbia comedy scene. Now, I done been up there quite a bit. There are some fantastic comedians up that way. Tell me a little bit about what you perceive as the scene up there.
Well, I mean, the Columbia comedy scene overall, it's a lot of talent pumping out there. Just everybody just trying to do their own thing and find a way to make it work. We all looking for that big gig that's gonna lead to future big gigs, just like anywhere else.
That's it.
Putting on shows and trying to get people to come out. So
Now,
there's never enough support.
now you host Monday nights at the Joint.
Yes, sir. I am the host. Me and Jorge, we host a joint Monday night comedy. It's every Monday, and we're a free form, community where we don't try to have you be a specific type of comedian. You're welcome to try pretty much anything you want to, without being offensive.
Yeah. Now, what are some other spots around town if someone were to want to go throughout the week to see comedy?
Well, definitely Monday night at the Joint, 8:30. That starts with yours truly. And then Tuesdays, we usually head to the Art Bar. That's a comedy open mic night there. That's also pretty good. Wednesday's kind of free. We try to get out of town to find some other mics on Wednesday nights. But also looking to start something new on Wednesday nights. Not opposed to it. Thursdays, we usually stroll around to the Attic. That's hosted by Patrick Fowler. That's the other Thursday mic. And, of course, the weekend is reserved for, booking them.
Big
Whoever
shows.
booking them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we making the heavy money.
Now, I know a few comedians myself personally. I've met T-Link. I've met you. I've met Patrick once or twice. Not really personable. Are there some comedians in Columbia area that you would refer people to go and kind of check out?
I mean, I would say T Link, Jen Snyder. I mean, it's a lot of good comedians. I don't want to name some and not name others. You feel me?
I got you. I say you.
So I just it's like just check out the scenes. If you check out my mic for sure, everybody come through and show love at my mic. So
The
that's definitely
joint,
somewhere if you want.
8:30, Monday
Yeah,
nights.
every Monday. So if you want to check out, some comedians, definitely there practicing our stuff. That's where we meet up at. Check out all the comedians. The Columbia comedy scene. If you go on Facebook, Columbia comedy, anything like that, the Metro events, we usually got something in there or some kind of post. You can follow our social media. Me at Rodney Butler is probably where everybody follows me the most at, but I also have Comedian Pudgy. Instagram, but pretty much everything at Comedian Pudgy. If you want the immediate follow, I post all the mics, so you ain't got to worry about which one is which, because any mic that's going on in our area, I usually post it on my page, whether it's ran by me or not. I'm just like a team player.
Heck yeah,
don't
you are,
see
man.
me-
And I'm gonna tell you what, man. Coming into the comedy game, you're one of the funniest guys I've seen. You're one of the most creative with the handicap. If you don't know, he's part of the Cane Gang. And get you some materials. I mean, apparels. I got it
only
on
am
right
I-
now, brother.
Not only am I a member of the King Gang, I'm also the owner.
Yeah, the owner. That's it. It shows. It shows. You got great talent, my man. Great talent. Hilarious guy. Please go check out the joint at 8:30. Be there at 8. Get you something to eat, nibble on something. Make sure you pee, potty, sit down and laugh. Monday nights, the joint in Columbia, South Carolina. Now, are there any big shows coming up for you in the future, or you got any events you want to plug right before we pop off?
Definitely check out Monday nights at the joint, because I have different people coming through, a lot of different comedians, big name comedians come through to show their face, so you never know what kind of connection you can make and, let them see your stuff. As far as shows I got coming up, I'm down in Charleston on the 1st with Desiree's son, and I'm doing the show with him down there.
I think I know which one you're talking about. I'm gonna put the flyer in for it.
Yeah, please do. Go
Gotcha.
ahead and plug it for me. And him and Ed, and then I'll be at the Atlanta Comedy Underground. I got a clean comedy brunch I'm doing out there under the Keenan from
Yeah, the
Keenan
Keenan
and
one,
Kel
yeah.
Presents.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, doing a little bit of that out there, and then I got a show, and I'm in Spartanburg on the 8th with. I can think of these light-skinned niggas' names, but I can never think of their faces. I mean, their faces are never their names.
Well, after the beef, there's been a lot of controversy in dark versus light, right?
Man, look, listen, that was tough on me, man, because everybody know I don't really fuck with no light-skinned like that, but I just, you know what I mean? I can't cheer for Drake, yo. I can't do it. Can't bring myself to do it.
Again, to everybody watching, go check out the Columbia comedy scene. Comedian Pudgy, Monday nights, the joint, 8:30. You'll have the flyers for the upcoming events coming on the bottom. Y'all don't miss it. Go check them out. Thank you, Pudgy, for coming on. I appreciate you, my man.
Oh, man, I definitely appreciate the opportunity, man. Y'all follow Tommy on everything, man. He's showing love, and we need a lot more of that. Definitely follow me on Comedian Pudgy, and I'll probably be at a Special Olympics in a city near you. Come check me out.